Are the Jaguars about to go bang and blow up the AFC? What is going on, everybody? Is Alex coming back at you with another video. And today we're taking a deep dive into the 2023 Jacksonville Jaguars. If you guys are new, feel free to stick around, like, comment, subscribe. I do this series because I want to be able to get an in-depth understanding of the rosters, because when it comes to mock draft time, I want to make sure I know every single little detail, because I think that honestly, one of the pieces I missed last year is being able to understand the pure depth of the roster. So we ain't making any excuses. This is the offseason. It's perfect time to make a video series that does not get many views, because it's going to pay off in the long run. And plus, I know that those of y'all who watch this really do appreciate it. So feel free to comment down below. If you guys are new, we're going to go through the depth chart, and then we're going to go into a records prediction. So let's hop right into it. Starting off with the offense, we start from skill position to line. Then for defense, go line to skill position. Quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, he's a beast. He's been getting better and better. I was not one of those guys who said he was a unicorn prospect, but I just thought he was so solid on so many levels. And, he's had the progression that I probably expected him to have. He's a little bit crazy with it in the beginning, but I do think that he is a plus starter. And I think that with the right situation, he easily can be an elite quarterback. I would not be surprised at all if he's going to end up being a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I think he will be a top 10 quarterback this year. I already put out a fantasy video breaking down the top 10, or I think it might have been top 15 quarterbacks for fantasy. So feel free to check that out as well, because Trevor Lawrence is definitely featured in there. But you have his buddy Travis Etienne. Fun fact, in the first mock draft I did for that year, I actually had them going after Trevor Lawrence and Travis Etienne. So pretty cool to say that one of the first mocks that I'd done was actually something that ended up working out. So really cool about that. And then Travis Etienne has all the big hit potential in the world. I think he's an awesome player. Then you look at the wide receivers, Calvin Ridley, hoping that he gets back to form. Obviously, if he doesn't end up being like incredibly good, you guys will end up paying less in terms of draft capital. But you guys could be giving up to a second round pick if you give him a contract. And I honestly hope that you guys end up spending a second, because I hope that he's that good, because this team needs it. Trevor Lawrence kind of needs it. You got Christian Kirk in there as well. He was that big ticket acquisition in the offseason. It was like, oh my God. And he's actually lived up to the hype quite a bit. He's definitely surpassed expectations. So I'm very happy to see that. Christian Kirk, he's actually able to make something of himself, and that's awesome. Really is. He deserves to start. Then you got Zay Jones, which I think is kind of one of the weak points on the team. I know y'all like Zay Jones, but I think you should have just another plus level starter as a wide receiver number 2 that's not in the slot. That's me personally. Looking at the line, I know Cam Robinson, if I'm not mistaken, is suspended 6 games. I'm pretty sure that he's out in some way, shape, or form for 6 games, because he spent his first round pick on Anton Harrison, who is listed at left tackle, but he also has played a game at right tackle. So I think if Walker Little has some struggles, put Walker back to guard, kick Ben Barch's ass out of there, and then have Anton, Cam, and Walker Little playing at the same time. But Ben Barch, I think, is also somebody where I don't really want him playing personally. I want to have a higher level plus starter. Luke Fortner, 3rd round pick. People were still trying to get them new centers in these drafts, and I think you need to give Luke Fortner a little bit of time. He was taken a bit earlier than what I would have taken him at, but I do think that there's a maturation process. Brandon Scherff he hasn't been as dominant as I was praying for him to be, but he's not the best right guard in the NFL, but I think that you've seen the potential of him for sure. Evan Ingram as well, trying to go for that contract, but he did just pick up Brenton Strange in round 2, who I ended up being really close to the draft, rewatching and being like, wow, I actually really like Brenton Strange. So very excited for that. Derek Parrish as well. I believe he's out of Washington State. That dude was everywhere. Very fun player to watch. But I think Anton Harrison's going to step in and be a cornerstone piece. I think he was, tackle number 2 for me. Left tackle number 2. I'm on left tackle number 1, if I'm not mistaken. Doesn't matter. He was a really good tackle on my board. I'm very excited to see that. Most improved, obviously, Calvin's coming back. And then I think Brenton Strange, especially if Evan Ingram wants to hold out, I think he fits that role very, very well. So a lot of people didn't like the pick. I think that was perfectly fine. Notable backups, Tank Bigsby behind Travis Etienne. I thought that was okay. Tyler Shatley is a good veteran, so at least you have some pressure for Luke Fortner to produce. And then you have Parker Washington, who's going to be a very fun one as a nice backup there. I believe that he'll play slot based on his overall build as kind of like a running back, Debo style. But overall, you have a very, very good core here. I gave it a B minus because you just don't have that star power, that right wide receiver, and then Calvin Ridley's unproven. But when you look at this, you have some really solid pieces. The line doesn't blow me away, but I think Trevor Lawrence is one of the best at maximizing that. So it's not something that I'm going to be losing sleep over, to put it bluntly. Now let's go to the defense, which I honestly thought it gets a little bit better. But looking at the defensive line, you got Josh Allen and Travon Walker manning the outside. I think that's one of the best edge rush duo potentials in the NFL. Yes, I did say that. But then you have Foley Fatukasi, free agency acquisition from the Jets, I believe, last year. Roy Robertson Harris, another acquisition. And then I'm forgetting the first name of Hamilton, but another quality nose tackle. Linebacker, I think, is your strength. You got Foye, another free agent acquisitions, and then Devin Lloyd, first round pick from just a little bit over a year ago. And then you got Rayshon Jenkins, Andre Cisco there. Two quality safeties. I don't think they're anything special, but I think they're very solid. Trey Herndon, could be one of the weaknesses. It's the same thing with Darius Williams, but I think Darius Williams is fine. The fact is that he is one of the weak points on the team, and he's not even bad. And then you got Tyson Campbell, who I fell in love with a while ago. That was the first time that I ever started doing, I believe it was a 2021 draft. That was the first time I ever started doing scouting reports, and he was one of the first that I did. So I think that Antonio Johnson does have a chance to step up as that strong safety. He was drafted, I believe, in the 4th or 5th round, and we'll see what happens there. Travon can continue ascending, former first overall pick. And then Chad Muma, another reason why this linebacking core is so good is because you have depth there too. I think he was a early 3rd round selection as well. So you have really good pieces all over the place. Other guys have note, Caleb Von Chason, I've heard him in some rumors for sure. Antonio Johnson, like I was just talking about. And then you got, it's Ventrell Miller. I was thinking Von Miller, what the fuck? Ventrell Miller, going to be a nice backup as well. Another good backup. And then you have Monteric Brown, who I like there as a backup for Tyson Campbell. So let's get into the schedule. Yeah, this is crazy. I believe in y'all. I do. I have some doubts here and there. Teams have good edge rushing groups. I'm surprised I gave y'all the game at Buffalo. I am honestly surprised about that. I might make that a switch game and have Buffalo win that, because it's in the UK. That's why. Okay, my bad. I was like, wait a second, there's something up. Yeah, I'll have 2 UK games, and that's Atlanta and Buffalo. So y'all are back-to-back weeks in the UK, which means that I believe you guys will be used to the time zone as well. Okay, we'll go over that in a second. I was like, what? But Indy starting out, new regime, with the quarterback and the coaching staff. Kansas City, you have them in Jacksonville, pretty tough. Then you have Houston there in Jacksonville as well. Then you're in the UK for 2 weeks. Even though those are good teams, I think that Jacksonville is one of those mainstay teams in the UK. It's kind of a home game for them. Then you have Indy again. I don't think that Anthony Richardson's going to be fully up to the momentum in week 6 to be able to compete, but he's going to be a good quarterback. I think that Indy has themselves a franchise there. So you guys start out on a 6-0 start. Take 2 losses by going to New Orleans, because that's just tough. It's tough to go to New Orleans. I think Derek Carr will be in the groove there too. And then Pittsburgh, because, going up north the AFC North is such a bitch division to go up against. So then you have your bye week, come back. I think that Brock Purdy's projected in my book to come back around week 10. So we'll see about that. But I also think that he's not going to be fully ready for it. Then you got Tennessee there in Jacksonville. Already talked about them yesterday, technically 5 minutes ago, based on the recording time of this. Then you got Houston there. You're going to Houston. It's just, that's a toughie. This division is getting better and better. Then you got Cincinnati as well. At home. That's another reason why I give it to you guys. Then you're going back up north to Cleveland. It's just, I usually like to favor the home team unless you are used to that climate. Then Baltimore, again, you're in Jacksonville, and that's a run-heavy team. It's not going to be very easy. You got Tampa Bay. You guys are in Florida, and you're a much better team. Carolina, it's a good team. I think Carolina could surprise a lot of us, but very talented team. Then you end up resting your starters for Tennessee, because I don't think you guys are going to be able to get that W or get that first round bye. So you might as well get your own versus Tennessee. So Overall, I think you guys are going to improve. I think you guys are going to end up being second in the conference. Could end up being 26th, could end up being 28th, could end up being the 30th draft selection. But that's going to be the video. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting as always. See you guys on the far side.